Okay, I'm back. It's Real Ram T. Lee. So I'm gonna do the second part of my response to my son. He's fashionable Lee. Two videos: letting go of your past traumas and the sun will burn down the village. I am going to add to this article that I'm going to put in the descriptions. This article of people who grow up as a single child tend to develop the following 8 traits when adults. So in this video, I am going to talk about myself receiving the trauma. So as I stated previously, I was beat as a child. I am my mother's only child. But there was a number of years in which I had a stepdad. He wasn't they weren't officially married for a great number of years. They were only officially married for 2 years. So I mean, what do I call him before that? It was my mama's boyfriend. But whatever. In the end, he was my stepdad. So from about 9 years old to 17. And he had 2 children who came over on the weekends and during holidays. So essentially still, I was home most of the time by myself. I was the only child. So just in case anyone gets confused from other videos, I am my mother's only child, and I primarily grew up by myself as the only child. So in this article, 8 traits that only children tend to show as adults is self-reliance, creativity, high academic achievement, strong bond with parents, sense of responsibility, comfort in solitude, adaptability, and independence. Now, of course, you can go on both ends of these spectrums. It could be positive, it could be negative. Now, for me, I am going to say, as this relates to burning down the village and letting go of your past traumas, me being beat, and I mean beat, my stepbrother one time counted, and I don't even know when he started counting, but he had counted one of my whoopings, and he told me that he counted that I got hit like over 111 times. And that's just what I remember. I remember that was kind of what he told me. That is traumatic. Why are you hitting me that many times? Only with a extension cord, mind you. This is why I say it was abuse. Okay, this is, like I said, this has been passed down from slavery. Do I give a little bit of grace nowadays with what I know that she knew to do? Yeah. But the fact still remains that that trauma is what it is. I'm getting hit with an extension cord over 111 times for something that I now know is like normal. I believe I was definitely past the 5th grade. So normal teenage behavior. That's ridiculous. So that sticks with you. Control. This was about control. So creativity, I'm not really going to address. Self-reliance. So there's nobody to argue with. There's high academic achievement. So I always felt like I needed to achieve. And actually it wasn't a feeling. It was a statement. So that high academic achievement along with comfort, was it a comfort and solitude? Or whatever the case may be. The point is, I'm going to post this article. Point is, I'm the only child. I'm there by myself. I have to take this up alone. I have nobody to talk to. Whereas those who have siblings, you can talk this out with your siblings. You can vent, or whatever the case may be. You can save the next sibling from getting in trouble, right? So, where was I going? I was going somewhere. Burning down the village to feel the warmth and letting go of your past traumas. Okay. I was on high academic achievement. Okay, yes. So it was mandatory. My mother mandated that I made A's and B's in school. So, of course, to avoid getting beaten and getting on punishment, I made A's and B's. Right? I guess it wasn't really hard. It wasn't necessarily hard to do if you pay attention in class and you do your homework and you study and all that. So I got really good at memorizing things. But in addition, right, my aunts and all of them, they tell me, you was really smart. Anyway, you was already smart. So it wasn't that hard. But I definitely made sure that there was no reason every time report cards come out for me to get a whooping. That's not gonna happen. So that leads to letting go of the trauma. I had to always stay busy. I feel that I must always stay busy. I must always be achieving. Strong bond with parents. No, that's not me. I'm on the opposite end of that. There is no bond right now, right? And so not wanting to repeat that with my kids. That's why I don't whoop my kids. The first two, they did get whooped, but being affected with getting whoopings, beatings, when you don't even really understand what it is that you did, you try so hard to keep your parent pleased, and then you can still get a whooping, an excessive amount of whooping, excessively long whooping, and you don't even understand why. That's traumatic. There's no bond. And yes, you would do whatever you can to try to get away from your parent. Also, trying to control my environment. I did the best to control my environment because I don't want her to get upset. So simplest thing is, making sure that the carpet is vacuumed correctly, things are not out of place, just the smallest little things and every little thing, which is how one becomes a perfectionist. That is a way, because I need to make sure that everything is picture perfect around here, and also in more into the surface, deep in, because if you decide to dig a little deeper, I don't want you to find anything. You're not going to find anything to flip on me. Which also in another article here, I won't go to that article, but it makes you untrusting of others, which is what I am. A lot of the times I'm untrusting. So if something looks like you about to pop off, well, I'm about ready to pop off too. Which one of us can pop off first and who can pop off the longest, right? But of course, I have had to grow. I've had to grow from that. And because that doesn't get you anywhere. But when I did it, I hurt some people. I hurt some people real close to me, because when you are hurt, when whoopings, that's what whoopings teach you. Whoopings teach you to lash out and hurt others. And you may or may not be in control of yourself when you do that, because you've watched the person who whooped you be out of control majority of the time. There are some people who do, now a little pat on the hand, but kids get too old for that, so you got to beef it up. Okay, I'm going somewhere, y'all. Just follow me. A sense of responsibility. That all ties into what I'm already saying. The comfort and solitude, I already said that. Adaptability. Okay, so this one is saying that you can easily adapt to situations because you're the only kid in the room. You're mostly around adults all the time. To a degree, yes, but also, in my time of childhood, being the only child in the room, you're also sent away. You're told, this grown folks conversation, so you need to go in the back or keep your mouth shut Don't say nothing. Don't be spreading my business or anything like that, right? So, how and when do you get to develop your communication skills, right? And particularly in my case, because this article is about being an only child. So when do you get to do that? If you can't practice it with your parents, if you can't practice it in a room full of adults, then when do you do it? You only have when you're at school, right? Okay, so we say children learn best through play. I may or may not. I may or may not have played well with other people. I don't remember. I don't know. I do have some stories about myself that I do remember. I remember them, good and bad. But I'll tell you that I prefer to play with my baby dolls, go in my room, be on video games, and all of that. And then when I'm at school, I tried to be around people who I thought were more so like me. Particularly once we moved to Manhattan, Kansas. When we moved to Manhattan, Kansas, and I was around a lot more white people, I really wanted to be around the black people. But that was far in between in my elementary school. This was elementary, so trying to adapt to that was not easy. And I got in trouble a few times. I got in trouble a few times at school. And of course, in the end, I got in a lot of trouble at home during those times, right? Because I still did my best to avoid it. So, adapting and all the other stuff. So when you beat your children, because you can have a child who, or I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be responding as the child. So, as the child, I was taught compliance. I became a very compliant person. But with compliance does come the tendency to try to find ways to break the rules, right? Because I'm compliant, I can't say nothing back, I can't do this, and you just gonna tell me no, and if I ask you, you just gonna fly off the handle. So I'm gonna comply with whatever it is you telling me, but as soon as I get the chance, I'm gonna do what you told me not to do. I'm gonna find a way, and it may not be completely what you said don't do. It's gonna be in the gray. That along with not sheltering, that there's another word besides sheltering, but basically not letting your child experience things. Oh Lord, what is the word for that? But when you combine those two things together, yeah, that's what you get. I'm not saying that I was a sneak and I was bad, but what I am saying is, just if you guys watched my my veteran interview, I can give you the prime example that, okay, so when my stepsister came over on the weekends, I came to a point where I had to share my baby dolls with her, right? Then eventually I just braided up my baby doll's hair so that she could not comb her hair, get it all tangled up and stuff. So I complied. I let her play with them, but I'm gonna braid up her hair and everything so you can't touch her hair. I'm gonna get what I want out of this situation. I didn't break the rules. The rules was to let you play with her. You can play with her all you want to, but you're not gonna like it, because the whole deal for little part of the deal for little girls playing with baby dolls is to also comb their hair. I am going to deprive you of combing her hair. Why? Because in the end, I'm going to have to detangle her hair when you leave. And you're not about to make me have to go through all that. It's my baby doll, and since I can't control the situation of telling you no, then this is how we're going to deal with this situation. Now, does this kind of match with burning down the village in order to feel the warmth? It can lead to that. It definitely can lead to that, because if I feel any sense of pushback, if I feel any pushback, or if I'm in a situation where I am uncomfortable, I don't feel the warmth, the love isn't being returned, this isn't a reciprocal relationship, this is not gonna work out. Now, of course, in my older days, yeah, I'll burn down the village, perhaps. Or the way I burn it down is through silence, compliance, or we can say resistance. And I know that these definitely are some things that my children have gotten from me. They got it from their daddy too. They got it from their daddy. But I can admit that I know that some of that stuff came from me. When you are told no so much, there's things you cannot do, and because it's beaten, you gotta hide it. So again, to the greater community, and the greater problem of this all is when you beat your kids, when you try to have your kids submit to you, when you try to control your kids, is more to it than that, because it's rooted in the slave masters controlling us. They took us out of a situation, and out of our country, and out of our land, and out of our language, and forced us into doing things that we did not understand. We don't understand what you're saying to us, because this is not our language, and you're gonna beat your language into us, your religion into us. And so when I should have put this in the other video, but I told you I can't keep it short like my son. And so throughout the generational time, when that happened, and our people, our ancestors, right, they beat their children, and what they say, I'm gonna beat you so the slave master won't beat you, which then turned into, I am going to beat you because you're not finna go to jail, or before the cops get you. Any of that other stuff. The language just changed, but it's all still the same. Some of it rooted in fear. Some of it they feel is protection. But it's all still control and passing down the trauma. And you didn't understand. So what we know now is that some of this was to kind of fool the slave master. Especially like when we couldn't read, we wasn't supposed to read. So we played dumb. Or when the mom was trying to avoid her child from being sold off, they would say these mean things and say, oh no, you don't want him because he's weak, he's just dumb, he's just whatever. And then you're hearing this, the child is hearing this. And then the parent doesn't take the time to go back and explain why they said these things. So since I am responding as the child, this is one of those things that happened to me. Was that passed down? Perhaps it was. I can give grace that is a very good possibility. Throughout times, and maybe my grandma and great grandma and all them, they didn't understand what they were doing and why they did it. But my mama calling me dumb all the time, that left a scar and left me feeling like I was dumb. But yet you're mandating out of me to make A's and B's. It doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron, right? This dummy is gonna make A's and B's all the time, or else she's gonna get beat. So for my kids, I've never called them names. I've never called them dumb, and I try my best not to even put that in a sentence. But have I passed on some of that trauma? I know I have with the first one, for certain. But going back to understanding how to adapt and be in social gatherings and be around other people, that's a difficult one right there. So I could continue to talk forever, but I want to make sure that my tangents don't get me lost in what I'm supposed to be saying. I am going to respond to some other videos that he made. So I hope you all got something out of this video and the other video as a parent. Please feel free to leave me some comments, and go leave some comments on his page as well. I'm going to put the link to his videos and these articles in this video. So please like, share, and subscribe, and more videos to come.